Welcome back. You'll hardly need reminding that crime is a subject of undiminishing concern to almost everyone, and not least the government. Next week at the Tory conference, the Home Secretary is expected to announce a plan to introduce longer prison sentences for violent criminals. In the process, he may mollify some of those who were dismayed when the Conservative majority in the House of Commons refused to bring back hanging after the election. However, it's less clear what impact his proposals will have either on deterring violent crime or rehabilitating the offenders. What can or should be done about a problem that is getting worse throughout the Western world is a question that arouses fierce argument and passionate feelings, but so far, no conclusive answers.
In America, where violent crime is much worse than it is here, there are lessons to be learned. There's been a lot of experiment, not least in California, where at San Quentin, some of the most advanced ideas meet some of the most hardened criminals in one of the most notorious prisons in the United States. Here, in a community which consists exclusively of long-term prisoners, some doing life and others on death row, the authorities try to keep order with a bizarre combination of gun law and the marriage license. And that, as we now see, is life in San Quentin.
Attention in the section. You men have cell moves. Inmate Harris, 282. Inmate Trump, 288. Inmate McCullough, 2832. Inmate Garcia, 2838. Inmate Alston, 3833. Inmate Young, 4819. Inmate Spears, 588. Inmate K, 588. Inmate Lacey, 5822. You gentlemen have cell moves. Pack up accordingly.
I run the security door in the mainline unit, and all I do is just control the movement coming in and out of the unit, make sure that the people that are going out have, going to doctor's appointments and dental appointments, and people moving into the unit from R&R, off the bus, coming in for appropriate housing, just making sure that everything runs smooth, maintaining safety and security of the institution.
San Quentin Prison. 3,000 prisoners, 1,000 guards, and a series of contradictions.
This is the gas chamber, right after they painted it. These are clippings of my arrest the night everything took place. This is the first death penalty case under the new law. This is describing the tension on death row at the time I was up there. Pictures of death row and a few inmates that was up there with me. That's me right there.
You sign where it says bride and you where it says groom, and sign your name, your maiden name. Don't sign the name you're going to have in a few minutes. Now will you both stand up, please, and repeat after me. Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the information you have given is both true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Yes. Okay. And do you have rings? Yes. You're ready to get married in the next room.
Go, fellas, cheers, go.
Only the worst offenders are sent to San Quentin. It's overcrowded, decaying, and violent.
Hold on, just a minute. He don't want to go to court. He can go to... That's what I'm telling you, man. You just can't take me where you're supposed to. Make your mind up. I done told you once. Bring it down, okay? What this shit? Bring it down.
Prisoners live under daily threat of injury or death from fellow inmates. This year alone, 6 have died. In the words of the prison warden himself, San Quentin is a monstrosity. The only way it can be controlled is with the gun.
There are very few places in San Quentin that cannot be covered by gun coverage. They're armed with a .223 caliber rifle, with a 12-gauge shotgun that fires 7.5 birdshot, and they're armed with a .38 caliber pistol in which to defend these weapons if they should ever drop one of them or if it's a close quarter situation where they're just about overtaken. A gun person is mandated by laws of the state of California to fire a warning shot or blow a whistle or shout at the combatants. One of these three things must be done before we skip fire or actually fire into a situation. Overlooking the maximum security housing units and the maximum security yards, the pressure there is just phenomenal, just tremendous pressure there. To shoot, not to shoot, under what circumstances and criteria to shoot, what type of shot would you take? And this compares with shooting to wound or disable in opposition to shooting to kill.
What kind of weapon have you got there?
It's a Remington 780 shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun.
And what's that used for?
Disturbances. All weapons around here are for, to control and or prevent major disturbances.
How long have you been doing this job?
13 years.
How often do you need to use that gun?
It really depends on them. Whenever they decide that they're going to do something, and then we have to take appropriate steps to prevent something, you know.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Everybody's getting out of the way. Boom, boom, boom. And you can't get out of the way fast enough. I mean, I've had pellets in my back before, behind it, you know, just because you turn away from it because you don't want to get shot in the face. There was one kid here, called him Goofy, who was just standing by the fence, and there was a fight that broke out in the middle of the yard, and they shot him. It skipped up off the ground and took his eye out. But there was separate incidents where people were killed. There was one guy got shot and he had internal bleeding inside the mouth, choked on his blood and died. Another one got hit with a weight and stabbed.
You say there are stabbings in here. How do weapons get in?
Well, they're made out of industries or out of shelves or out of whatever. Anything that's metal that can puncture will be used. I mean, you know, I've seen them aluminum, steel, lead, whatever, you know.
As a matter of policy, in the past 3 years, California has concentrated its hardcore convicts at San Quentin. Today, half the prison's population is serving life. As a result, violence has risen dramatically, much of it in the form of racial attacks between blacks, Mexicans, and whites. It's made worse by gang warfare.
Right now, I think they're in the midst of recruiting the younger inmates, you know. They'll recruit the younger inmates, and they like send them out on a mission to more or less prove themselves. Some inmates feel that they're not gangs, you know, that they're organization, you know, because it just don't stop here, it goes to the streets. You got the black guerrilla family, you got the Mexican mafia, you got the Familia family, you got the Crips, you got the AB, the Nazi family. From back years ago, it's been guys died and killed, and it's been going on and on and on. And brothers are killed, cousins are killed, you know, friends are killed. And it's at a stage now where it'll never stop.
God damn. Yeah, what you gonna say, Mark? What you gonna say, Mark?
Officer Wilson, what happens here and what's your job?
This is the South Block Rotunda. This area primarily controls all the feeding throughout the prison, right in this location. Whenever there's any alarm that sounds, if it's in this area, I designate all movement. I stop and close all doors and designate all movement to which way it has to go.
Somebody told me that this is one of the most dangerous jobs in the prison.
Yes, to a certain extent it is pretty dangerous. You have to know what you're doing to work here. I've worked this job on 2 different other occasions. and I think it's a very good job.
Why is it so dangerous?
Because of the type of movement you have, and you have very little gun coverage, and the place that you might have to run in a run of a day if something does happen. Okay?
How often do incidents happen?
Rather frequently.
Me and him got into it. Yeah. Since then, you know what? You don't want to know something? Yeah, I had that. And the only reason why, you know, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go let him sell. You know, we was gonna sell it all together. Yeah. Because, you know, we was primers and shit, you know. And he not no TV or no box or nothing. Here he goes! Back inside, gentlemen. Let's go. Back in there. Let's go. Hey, let's get this boy up, okay? Trying to see which way they run.
Exactly what happened over there? Was it stabbing? Okay, inmate on inmate, correct? And the cop got in the way. Okay, real good. Thank you. Apparently, in one of the adjacent blocks, there's been a violent incident. The incident had to be contained by gunfire. This is to say that warning shots had been fired and were ignored, necessitating the need to skip fire, to put the pellets near the combatant's feet, and it hits the lower extremities. This usually is enough to stop the action. It's still a bit excited in here right now, but nobody here really, in fact, knows what went on. If all the facts were known by the inmates in this block, if it might have been something negative as far as their ends are concerned, then in protest they could conceivably get started in here as well. As a matter of fact, I've seen this type of incident happen 3-4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a week, with even more shots fired. This time I think there was only 5 or 6 shots fired. But it's not uncommon to hear a volley of 12 to 20 shots.
Attention the A section, all block workers lock up. 10 minutes, lock up, 10 minutes for block workers.
Officer Sue Eskew has worked in San Quentin for 2 years. Running a main cell block, she's now used to the violence.
At first it's tough, but then you get used to it, just like anything else.
Do you enjoy it?
I love it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
How is it that a job which to an outsider seems so frightening can be enjoyed?
It's frightening at first because you think, you know, there are these felons and guys on death row, and they're just regular people, I guess, that committed crimes and are in the institution doing their time. And I guess if you treat them fair, everything, you know, they'll treat you fair.
Well, we've just heard shots go off, and you reacted very calmly to that. Are you used to that happening?
Every day. Every day.
Why is that?
Occurrence.
Why does it happen every day?
Prison violence, I guess. I guess it's really frustrating being locked up in a cell 23 hours a day, and then I guess when they go out to the yard, that's when they take out their frustrations. Unfortunately, things like that happen.
Officer, you ready to call for an officer? Plan ahead. Come to the front office for a close day check-in.
Bobby Marcellis is serving life for murder. His fiancée Jackie is one of many women who come to San Quentin to marry men they've either known on the outside or have got to know by letter. Marriages happen on the first Tuesday of each month. The formalities handled by a prison official.
Are we all set? Get rid of your cigarette, Robert. Just put it on the phone. We're gathered here in the presence of witnesses for the purpose of uniting in matrimony, Robert Marcellus and Jackie Riley. The contract of marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but is thoughtfully and seriously, and with a deep realization of its joys and its responsibilities. Do you both understand that you will be lawfully wedded? Would you please answer by saying yes? Yes. Would you please join hands? You will be lawfully wedded to have and to cherish each other from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. Robert Marcellus, do you take Jackie Riley for your wife? Please answer.
Yes, I do.
Jackie Riley, do you take Robert Marcellus for your husband?
I do.
Now that you have joined yourself in marriage, may you strive all your life to meet this commitment with the same love and devotion that you now possess. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of California, as Deputy Commissioner of Marriages, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Robert, would you please salute your bride? Robert.
Salute.
Yes.
Why does a woman marry an inmate?
Security. Security in the fact that she knows where he is. You know, where else can a woman get 8-hour attention from a male all at once? You don't get it in the home, because you're both out working, you got your own activities. The attention span is exclusive. She comes into the visit room 7 days a week, 20 times out of a month, because that's what they're allowed, and she has his full attention, his devotion. Family life after they parole, after they left the institution, going back to statistics when I was the parole agent, it doesn't last. 2 to 6 months at the most that they're together with their husband. And that's because he's outside and there's a vast, enormous other women and activities and things to get off into. You know, his world is not confined to San Quentin. He's got his choice.
Maybe this is a little tramp right here.
Ooh, trap.
It's all right. I hear what it calls it.
In a quiet compound, away from the main cell blocks, a trailer will become their honeymoon retreat. The trailers are in constant use by prisoners and their wives, a privilege they get only once every 4 months. It's called a family visit.
It consists of 2.5 days of them living together as man and wife in a trailer situation. There's 2 bedrooms, a bath. It looks just like a little home. And we control what they bring inside the institution as far as the food, the clothing, and so forth. But it does afford them the privacy that they would not otherwise be able to obtain. That keeps the violence and the potential danger down. If the guy knows he has a wife that's going to visit him, send him money, participate in the family visit, he will less likely commit crimes inside, because if he does, the privilege is taken away from him.
Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you, yeah. Daddy loves you.
Jimmy Van is in the 3rd year of a 16-year sentence for armed robbery. He and his wife Susie were married in the prison last year. Their baby Tiffany was born a year later.
You like your flowers?
They see their family visits as essential to his rehabilitation.
Well, it keeps you having a personal contact, you know, and keeping a relationship together. I don't think I'd have married, you know, we'd have got married if they didn't have family visiting. It's just, you can have the relationship, it keeps it very personal. And you get to, I mean, in the visiting room, there's always, you know, there's a cop watching you, and to really get talking is hard. Now here you can, you know, get all your, you know, problems worked out and stuff. And it just helps, you know, we encourage each other, you know, and I encourage him to keep, you know, being good, because we're getting these out of it. And like I said, I enjoy him. Well, it was hard to get used to. I never thought I'd marry someone, you know, be in something like this. But yeah, they're nice too. People have treated me really good, and I enjoy them, and I just look forward to them.
I feel very, very fortunate. You know, there's a lot of little things that
I feel as though I contribute, and I'm still a good father and a good husband. I get down sometimes because, you know, I'm not, you know, I hurt for my wife, man. And my wife's got the hard part. I got the easy part, man. This is easy for me. I've been used to it all my life. You know, they don't advertise people to come to prison, man. They don't want people in prison. I brought myself here. It's become a lifestyle, and one that I got used to until I met someone that was important to me, important enough in my life that I cared enough about to make any kind of sacrifice that I could to better myself while I was in here. But we have a good understanding. We've come a long ways. It was a struggle at first, but hey, we've come a long ways, and it's a lifestyle we've accepted. And now I just look for the day that when I get out.
But in the prison where men are caged alone on arrival, rehabilitation comes low on the list of priorities. On the roof, a chimney is a reminder that California still believes in the death penalty. Below it, death row, where 120 men wait while their appeals are heard. The chimney connects to San Quentin's own gas chamber, last used in 1967. Since then, death sentences have been overturned, although California's new governor wants the executions to resume. Hassan Brown was sent to death row convicted of 2 murders. He faced execution at the age of 19.
Well, I tried not to think about it, you know, whether it was my time to go or whatever. That just had to be, you know. And I wasn't looking forward to it.
It must be hard not to think about it.
Yes, it's hard because you got to live in that environment every day. You know, you got to share that same thought 24 hours a day, you know, and it's there. It's more of a reality than just waking up and going to sleep.
How did you get off death row?
They overturned my sentence from death to life with possibility. From that point, I was brought to the general population, rightly an MCU unit, management control.
How did your life change at that point?
Mentally. I mean, I had something to look forward to. I have another chance of proving myself, not only to the world that I'm capable of surviving in society, but most of all to myself. See, I got to prove it to myself before I can show anybody else. So I changed my thoughts, my ideas. One thing from positive and negative in order to deal with this here.
What produced that change in you?
The sentence from death to life. That changed it. Okay, this is my brother and my sister and my little brother. This is a young lady that I was involved with at one time when I first got arrested, and her daughter. This is when I was on death row. We played glass, the little screen we talked through, and we're taking a picture through the glass. I'm on the other side. This is her and 2 more of her daughters, and I'm behind the glass, also death row. And this is my partner in the A section, myself. And this is the same female and me on death row on a visit. That's how we visited at that time. Had no touch with the outside world at all. And this is her inside her house, her apartment.
It's a tiny cell, this. How do you get along with your cellmate up above?
Okay, we have our ups and downs. We argue, fuss, but we don't hit one another, you know. That's violation now. You're all the way in violation.
What about exercise? Can you do any exercise in here?
Push-ups, sit-ups, that's about it. You know, and that's going to be kind of tight. But other than that, I'm comfortable, man. That's all right, you know, for a minute. So I know it's not going to be forever. You adapt that attitude that one day this is all going to come to an end. So you endure.
Just day by day?
Day by day. Yeah.
Would you show this material, if you continue to interrupt this, I'm going to have to consider the code. Okay, all dedicated, all volunteers, all appreciated. Everybody else, report to yourself, lock up. Not dedicated, continue by yourself.
What a place. Anyway, that's all for this month. Next month we'll be back at 10:30. That's the first Tuesday in November. Hope you join us then. Good night.